Hey guys, how's it going? So we've got 4 things today. We've got 1 variety of perennial, 1 variety of rose, and 1 variety of annual we're going to plant in the ground. And we also are going to plant the blue wheat seed that I meant to plant yesterday and I completely forgot. This right here, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I cannot wait to see how it does. Now, I was reading up on the back and it did say that the degree of blue coloring varies with growing conditions. So I'm guessing based on heat, soil type, all those sorts of things, we'll see what color it turns for us here. But a couple of interesting things about it. It's a Dutch heirloom grown in the area of Utrecht, Netherlands in the early 1900s. It has superior blue color and long black awns, which are the bristles that come out. And it does have an edible wheat berry, but it's very hard to thresh, so it's best grown for ornamental purposes. It also lists that it's great for flower arrangements, baskets, crafts. I'm all about that, so we're gonna give it a try. And then we've got the Superbena pink cashmere, which is such a beautiful, beautiful color. And honestly, I've had a lot of experience growing Superbena in the containers. And just from like a garden center background perspective, this variety does not get leggy. Some varieties get massive and leggy and you feel like you have to keep cutting them back. And it's not leggy in like the best way. It's leggy in kind of like a stringy sort of look, sort of situation. This one just stays so compact and beautiful and full of flower that I love that. And that detail doesn't make a huge difference to what we're doing today, but it's just something I noticed. And I love the color. Then we've got the Prairie Princess Ironweed, which is a brand new perennial coming out, I think next year, Vernonia. Ironweed is the common name. I know absolutely nothing about this perennial other than what's on the tag. I've never grown this type of plant. I've never grown, well, clearly this variety because it's brand new. It says that it likes full sun. It grows up to 30 inches tall, and spacing, I think they get kind of biggish. Kind of remind me of an Amsonia in the way they look and kind of their growth structure. Spacing says maximum of 3 feet. They're supposed to bloom late summer, which ours are in bloom already. They do weird stuff in containers sometimes. And it's a native perennial, pollinator favorite, mildew resistant, deer and rabbit resistant. So there you go. But when we get in here and look at the leaves, like the leaves really do remind me a little bit of an Amsonia. Like they're long and slender. I think the color is beautiful. It looks great with this Superbena actually. I'm guessing it's gonna have kind of the same rhythm of an aster, where it kind of starts blooming mid to late summer and then gives you that fall color. And then we've got the Flavorette Pear'd rose, which if it's anything like the Flavorette Honey Apricot rose, we are in for a treat. I just posted a reel on Instagram the other night of 3 stems from the Flavorette Honey Apricot and how it created a big, beautiful bouquet just with 3 stems, and the color's beautiful. They're an edible rose, like they've actually been bred to be high-performing rose, which the honey apricot absolutely is, but they've also been bred to have a really nice taste. So you can add them into whatever, desserts, salads, that kind of thing. And this one supposedly has a pear-ish flavor. I just like the color. That is just perfection to me. The creamy color on the outside and that blushy pink in the middle. Oh. They grow 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide, and they're a zone 4 through 8. And this variety does not need to be deadheaded for continuous bloom, but you can deadhead them to make them aesthetically, like if you like the look better, having them completely cleaned up. But you can see some blooms here in later stages of growth. So there's a little bud. There's a couple that are a little bit older than that one right there, and then one that needs to be deadheaded. Whoops. Yeah, that definitely looks better. And the pruning is really easy on these. It's just recommended to cut them down by about 1/3 of their total height once new buds start to emerge in the spring. So you just go in there, kind of size it up, cut it down by 1/3, and you're good to go. All of these like full sun, so we're gonna head out to the south garden here in a minute. We're gonna plant the wheat first and then the Superbena, because I know exactly where that's gonna go. But this is going in the raised bed over here. I've got a 3 foot by 4 foot raised bed right here that's cleaned out and ready to go. So my plan is just to make a little trench. Seed needs to go 1/4 of an inch deep. What's the spacing on it? 1 to 2 seeds every 2 inches. So 2 seeds every 2 inches. I think I'm gonna do extra rows right in the middle. Okay, so we've got 7 rows in here. It says thinning is not necessary. I am planting this a little bit late. It does recommend that you plant it 2 to 4 weeks after your average last frost date. We're definitely past that, but wheat grows really quickly, especially in the heat. And we've had really good luck growing wheat. Do you guys remember when we grew that, like it was 60 feet long by about 5 foot wide row? We got a crazy amount of wheat growing out there. So I'm hopeful. the seed looks like right there. And we're just gonna drop in a couple seeds every couple inches, loosely. I'm not so great at my spacing. We're just gonna kind of give it one of these. Okay, I'm seeding it pretty thick, but I'd rather go too thick here. Okay, now I'm just turning the soil back over the seeds so it's about 1/4 of an inch deep. Okay, first planting project is done. I watered them in and then I went back through just to make sure that I didn't see any seeds above the soil. We should be good as long as the birds don't get any big ideas. It did say on the package that you can put like a thin layer of straw over the top of the soil to keep the birds out, but I didn't have a problem before, so we'll see. There's one. All right, let's go get those Superbena planted. Oh, what a pretty view this morning. Oh, love it. It's actually quite perfect. I want to show you the honey apricot roses, but this is where all the Superbena is going to go. Just right along this gravel edge right here. I think it'll be really pretty, but these need to be deadheaded, so gonna look past these spent blooms, but I just love the growth habit of these flavorette roses. Look at them. They're such a pleasing size and shape. I mean, we've had to do, other than just the normal rose cleanup before the season begins, this is it. So we're gonna come through here and deadhead shortly, but they're just gorgeous. And we've got the Agastaki we grew from seed right behind. So these will throw out the gorgeous pinky apricot blooms, and then we'll get the blue, kind of bluish purple blooms from the Agastaki. Oh, but if you look at this, look at these sprays of blooms. I mean, they're just like one stem has a bunch of blooms. Okay, so we're just gonna lay them out, get the holes dug, get them in the ground. First, I gotta deadhead these roses because I can't look at this anymore. Oh, I'm loving this. This is gonna be gorgeous. So I started all the way down here by this sort of pink, purple, and white area. We've got some limelight prime hydrangeas in here. There's hardy pink geraniums. There's pink salvia, which we've cut back already. There's Russian sage, the purple hibiscus, kind of sticking with those cool colors. So the pink cashmere just fits in beautifully. And right in here, we've got Echinacea purpurea popping up. There's some Russian sage that's seeded itself around, and we have some pink petunias. I think I had the tiara pink in here last year. I don't know if it'll bloom true, but it seeded itself around and it's popping up, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, it starts right here and kind of goes the distance. As I was placing plants in here, I started to place some Superbena back in this area, and then I thought, no, this would be a perfect spot for the Iron Princess Vernonia. We do have some other things in here for fall color, like this is a chokeberry, so these little things will turn into bright red berries. We've got quick fire hydrangeas, so we'll have the beautiful kind of pinkish blooms. We've got heptacodium. This is the Temple of Bloom, and that's an amazing tree. or large shrub for fall color. But this will just add to the beautiful color in this space, having the purple blooms and that texture. I think that texture works really nicely in here. Anyway, kept going. Roses look a lot better being deadheaded. And made it to this end. I did want to pop some of that same color down here, though not as much. So I started it at the same sort of area right by the juniper. Actually, I think I could pull one of these. I think what I could do is do this. I'm gonna ricochet a little bit here. There, I think that matches just a little bit better. Anyway, I can add one more to this side. So I just went around basically the front of this border, minus these two right here, because I'll fill in with something different. I wanted to put some kind of a shrub in here anyway. So we'll have that same pink color that carries on all the way to our, I think these are Firelight Tidbit hydrangeas. So now we just need to dig all the holes, get them in the ground. All done, and it looks beautiful. I did realize after I stood back that I went in quite the straight line here. It should be a little bit more curved, but it doesn't really matter because these will all grow kind of at a different growth rate, and it will most likely kind of undulate even if they are planted straight because they will grow differently. But next time I'm gonna take note of that a little bit more because it just goes so straight and then it kind of starts doing the little, you know, I don't know, different shaped randomness toward the end. But the color is so pretty right here. It's just such a fresh little pop of color, and the ironweed is beautiful. I think that is a really good option and a good size for this area, you know, because it'll kind of grow right in here. So it's a really nice step up from the Superbena, and then we have our other tall things. And it's a beautiful color. And these roses are a deep pink, so they will match beautifully. You can see right here, I can't remember the name of these, but they do keep a nice green glossy leaf, and they'll start blooming here again real soon. Just sort of filled in this area right here. And this poor pot, we had a pot here last year too. I kind of forgot that it just gets wind blown. I mean, this is west and it just, boom, hits that one. And so this side always struggles a bit. I'm happy to see how wet the soil is though. That's awesome. And then over here on this side, I did grab, when I went to go get the auger, I grabbed 5 of the deep purple, rockin' deep purple salvia. I had 5 of them left out in the high tunnel, and I thought, well, that's gonna be a beautiful sort of filler right behind the Superbena to add a little bulk until I figure out what I want back here. The thing is I got an eastern redbud right here. It's growing super slow because the soil, I think the soil's so hard. I had to put all my weight, like I was almost laying on top of that auger to get it to go down in the soil, because that redbud has been here for a while, and it's just, it has put on growth, but not a tremendous amount, but they get big. I mean, the canopy will be pretty decent sized, and maybe it'll take forever to get there, so it won't really matter, but I kind of was wanting to put some kind of, I don't know, maybe a small blue evergreen in here. I've got a couple of greens right in here. Eventually it'll get shaded out, but maybe it just won't matter because it's gonna be so long. I don't know. Either way, I've got to figure out what I want in here, because this space is also the back to the other side. See, as you walk in here and turn to the left, I want there to be something a little bit bulkier right there. Anyway, it's looking real pretty in here. This side has really filled up. Still have some work to do in here and over here on this side. Okay, so now we're gonna go find a spot for these Flavorette Pear'd roses. Okay, well, I know where the first three are going. Right here in the south garden. So I'll turn to the left so you can kind of get perspective as to where we're at. There's the entrance of the property. There's a swallowtail. Oh, pretty. Anyway, in this area, I'm trying to keep this spot open because we are going to put some kind of a structure in here. And I want there to be a pathway that leads out from there to this space, which makes the rose placement perfect because there will be the pathway and then enough space to do something shorter and then the roses. I think that'll be really nice. And right behind it, we've got that is not a ginger wine. Yeah, that is. That's a ginger wine 9-bark doing its thing. And then we've got some Agastaki. We've got some, sedum. What's the name of this one? I'm struggling with sedum variety names this year. Can't remember. And then we've got the reminiscent coral rose, which is just lighting it up right now. Look at these. My goodness. Okay, let's get them planted. Those look great. Now we can go plant the other two. And here are the other two. I think they're going to be really pretty right in here because we don't have a whole lot going on in this space because, as you might remember, we had the espalier pear sitting here along with the other raised bed that we had near that one, plus we had pallet with concrete. It kind of had become a little bit of a catch-all space, and now I want to start developing it and tucking some pretty things in. So whenever I have like kind of extras, I mean, I did my trio over by the birch tree, and that's going to be beautiful, and that's a distance away. It's tucked in over there. You don't really see that space and this space at the same time, which I think is good. There's some beautiful things in here. We've got some gorgeous hollyhocks in bloom. Look at these. Just beautiful. We've got a flame willow. There's a choke cherry there. Now we've got the roses. We've got room to tuck in. I'm thinking a small blue evergreen right in here. Wouldn't that be kind of perfect? I love the weeping white spruce right here. We've got a Kwanzaa cherry. And we've also got space right in here. But I've got the Ringo double pink roses right here, so I didn't want to put roses right here. I want to put something different. So I think these are going to be just a beautiful little surprise tucked in after you get past the hollyhocks. And you guys, that is going to do it for today's projects. It is 98 degrees today. So I am ready to go and make sure everything has water. We are expecting a bunch of wind tonight, of course. It's kind of a weekly or bi-weekly occurrence around here, but it's been a beautiful day. I've really enjoyed being out here, getting some new things in the ground. Just love it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.